Good morning, Oblivion. You are first. Good morning, good morning. Average person, welcome back. Oh, this one is a 5:30 a.m. stream. Sheesh. Yes, this for me it's 4:30 a.m. That's when I normally stream. It is from 4:15. I try to be at the desk by 4:15 till about 7 in the morning. Um, having a job and wife and kids and whatnot, that's the most that's like the time of day most often that I have multiple hours of uninterrupted time. So that's normally when I stream. Good morning, Gunheist. Hello, Steven. Could you please explain yourself? Why did a stream last night, at least for me? So I just slept in yesterday. It was Sunday, and I don't work on Sunday, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna sleep in today, and I'll stream later. I actually did that both Saturday and Sunday this weekend. I didn't stream early. I streamed like middle of the day / afternoon. No real reason other than just I can. I am glad that explanation is acceptable for you. uh, let's see. What was I doing? Housekeeping stuff. Let's see. That's set up. That's set up. Looks like the stream alert went out. That's good. We have new members we gotta let into this Discord. Okay. Alright. I think all that's done. What's up, I am trapped? Yes, I'm back at it. You know what they say, consistency, you know? But why is that alert still up? Must have got bugged from last time. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. And what are we doing today? Let's see. We are enjoying some coffee. Trying to avoid too much AI anxiety and building a configuration provider that supports encryption for .NET applications. Good morning, King Brownie. Does a subscribed info just freeze? Is it me? Oh no, it was a me issue. I have like what do they call those layers that toggle the visibility gets toggled when the alerts go on and off. That's my fault. I slept to you streaming and then I woke up and now you're streaming again. Nice. Nice. Time zones are weird, man. Time zones are weird. They let you pull off some really crazy stuff, huh? Let's see. I'm gonna set up a mirror for this. Call this secure big. Yeah, that's fine.
I'd like to say something.
Are we ever doing a leak code stream?
Probably not. If I'm completely honest, average person, probably not. If you stick around and hang around here until we get back to Christmas time, I will definitely do Advent of Code during the month of December. That will probably be all our streams in the month of December will be Advent of Code, which is sort of like leak code, but leak code doesn't really interest me. It doesn't really it doesn't excite me. I guess. You know? I'd much rather actually build actual, like, if I'm going to spend time coding every day, I would love to have the output of that code be actual useful software for myself, or if other people find it useful too. So probably not. There probably will not be leak code streams. But I know there are streamers or content creators that do that sort of thing. So maybe those guys would be a better fit if that's what you're looking for. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, you know? And that's okay. We're not meant to be everything to everyone. Alright, and then let's sync it across. Are you doing any coding in your job? Yes, I do. Yep, which is awesome. So I kind of worked my way into that though. Like I started as a support analyst, then I moved over to the quality team, primarily as a manual tester. And along the way, I've just taken on as many projects, like building internal tools, building custom integrations for clients, basically anything that would demonstrate my ability to solve problems with code. And then slowly that turned into actually having the opportunity to actually make writing code a part of my daily stuff, which is pretty cool. And then in my free time, I get to build all the stuff I want, you know? All right, so we got this. Got our mirror set up. Do advent of software, SaaS for every every month. So 12 apps. Dude, that would be crazy if someone pulled that off. Apparently that's everyone tells me that's where the world's going apparently. I don't know, man. I just try to stay in my lane, you know, and not let the world get to me too much. Everyone's making it up anyways. No one really knows what's going to happen. Oh, and then let's open code. This would be cd secure config. And then we'll put this in plan mode. If it ever starts. There we go. All right, back to where we left off last night. So we need to add, where are we? So we are in the process of implementing the secure config class. So let's add a namespace and we will do secure config test.cs. Do namespace. Top of the morning to you as well, D. Good to see you. Hello, Minister of Defense. Long time no see, man. It's been a minute. How you been? By the way, I've noticed you've been using Nvim on Windows. I've been trying to get on it, but it seems a productivity nightmare in the beginning. Yeah, you're gonna take a hit on the productivity side, average person. I did. I think everyone's just. It's just the way it is, especially when you start talking about like the Vim motions part of it. It's just painful there at the beginning, and the only way to really get around it is just not to give up. I wish I had better advice, but you did definitely. It's definitely a side quest. You know, it's one of those things that maybe you don't make the switch in your maybe you're in your day job if you're under pressure to produce lines of code. But if you're coding in your free time, why won't that? If you're coding in your free time, it makes a lot of sense, I think. Hello, Blackfire. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. We need a mock. What is it? Secure config source. Yeah. So we need a secure provider and a mock crypto provider. Mock crypto provider. This is going to be mock provider equals new. And we do not have a mock yet. So let's go to here, we'll do .NET, add test package. Mock. That. According to a LinkedIn guy I saw, if you're still using IDEs, you're already behind. He said running 24 agents and not reviewing any more code. Or he's running 24 agents and not reviewing any code. He's a master of agentic workflows. God, one day I hope to be the master of something, just not agentic workflows. You know what though? If that's how he likes to code, and that's fun for him, and he's able to build the stuff he wants, and is able to build either the software he wants to use every day, or the software he wants to sell to people and wants to make money off of it, and those people are happy customers, like, all the more power to him, right? Like, it's his life. The technologies are pretty cool, and if that makes him excited to code, like, go for it, you know? It's like people who like to do yoga versus people who like to lift weights, right? Totally cool.
Brew, 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 brew. Good morning, man.
What's up, dude? How are you? Viably subtle. I've never seen an alert like that. I guess that was a super chat or something, huh? It came through funny because it said like 2,000. Oh, maybe that's a different currency. Ah, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Good morning, good morning. Yes, the stream go burr because of coffee. I'm not sure how much it is, but yeah, it threw me off because it said 2,000. I was like, wait a minute. Laugh my ass off. Sounds like the guy with 12 Codex subscriptions who doesn't even know Git. I will say it is kind of interesting watching people. There's a lot of content creators right now who are making AI content, right? And a lot of them are not even like software development professionals. Like they're not people that are involved in building software professionally. And it's funny to hear them explain discovering like basic tools like Git or Visual Studio Code, things like that, and hearing them explain the tools. But hey, if it gets more people interested in software, I think that's probably a net good thing. Good morning, Josh. We're getting it. Yes, we are. Good morning. Good to see you. UGX is the Ugandan shilling, apparently. Oh, very cool. Well, that's awesome, Viably Subtle. Great to see you. Hope Uganda is treating you well. I've never been to that part of the world. I'd love to visit, but never been. It's pretty crazy that there's a dude in Kansas right now talking to a guy in Uganda. I still think that's what the internet is a wild thing. We take it for granted, but it's pretty wild when you think about it. Okay, so now we need to do this. And then we need to bring in... Why are my code actions not working? Let's see, OmniSharp. Yep, it's attached. Huh. It's weird.
Bree, your top Ugandan fan.
Well, thank you very much, man. That's very kind of you. Not at all necessary, but very kind of you. Configuration. No. We want cryptography. Huh. Why is that not working? Oh, is it because it's internal? Yeah, I bet it's because it's internal. Let's see. Yep, so we need to add that attribute that's like, what is it? I think it's something like internals visible to. Item group. And then I'm pretty sure it is internals visible to. And I don't know what goes here. Something like, or is it between? Is it between here? I think it's something like assembly name. Or actually, I think you can do ms build project. Nope. What is it? Internals visible to csproj. Include. That's how you do it. Include. There we go. Now everybody's happy. What time do I wake up? So typically I try to wake up at 4, and then I just try to get myself together, like brush my hair so my hair's not sticking up on stream, make a cup of coffee. I usually peel a couple oranges and get a Gatorade or water, and then I come down to the desk and try to start streaming by like 4:15. Sometimes I'm a little later than that, but that's usually the schedule around these parts. Mr. Worldwide. That's funny. Page up a little bit. How come though you can? How come though? Can you maintain good performance if you code before? I'm usually dead after my day. Yeah, I don't know. I find coding very enjoyable. So coding is not something that typically drains me. It makes me want to do more of it. It makes me more excited and more energized. But that's just me. Let's see. My issue is that non-software engineers making software. My issue is that have some minor success and appoint themselves as experts. Talk about how coding is dead and how we're stuck in the past. Yeah, I don't care for that aspect of AI development or AI software development. I think it's one thing to have a new class of developer, which is fine. It's a completely different thing when the new class of developer tells the old class of developers, "Hey, we don't need you guys anymore. You can move along." That's kind of a shitty attitude, in my opinion. Nvim been giving me some issues lately too, getting ghost warnings and stuff. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't had too many issues with Nvim. Obviously, when you start wiring a bunch of plugins together and you're not really sure how they all interact, you know, I could see some weird stuff happening. The Josh Galt. I'm guilty of this. I talk about software every day, have no idea how it works. I mean, again, it's like as long as I feel like if somebody's interested in building software because of AI and that's the way they like to do it, all the more power to them. I think the only issue is kind of like what Minister of Defense said, just when you get a little out over your skis, a little big for your britches. Good morning, Rickley. Good to see you. King Brownie. I try to stick to my niche. Software is too large to have many opinions on, in my opinion. I think that's the case with most topics. You know, like people get entire PhDs on very, very tiny niches of tiny fields, right? So I think it's really good to always recognize there's a lot more you don't know than you do know, and that's why I always try to present myself as a student. I would rather much be the learner than the teacher. It's much more interesting that way. Rickley, you build this on .NET 10. So I'm building it with, so the class library will be Net Standard 2.1. So that way it'll be compatible with basically all the .NET, I think .NET 3 and up it will work with. And then my class library or my test project is actually .NET 11 because there's already a preview version of .NET 11 out. So I've been running that on my development machine. Do you drink Saratoga water? I don't know what that is. Saratoga water. Natural. Is that like a brand? Oh, it's a brand. Huh. No, it looks too fancy for me. I just drink water out of the faucet. Although I like the bottle. The bottle's pretty cool looking. Defining taste since 1872. That's what it says on their website. Let's see. Good morning, Abdul. Good to see you. It's been a minute. When I was on vacation, I walked down some stairs at a spot and a rabid dog began leaping at me, drooling. It was chained, luckily, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's super scary. Super scary. I mean, most interactions I have with dogs are pleasant interactions, but I can definitely see a rabid one being very off-putting. A little scary. All right, we need to write some tests for this bad boy. All right, first one is pretty simple. Let's see. First one's very simple. Private, read-only, mock, I, secure storage provider, Then we need a private read-only secure config. Go to new. Object. Bring these in. Storage. Okay. What are you complaining about? Cannot convert from iSecure store. Oh, I have these flipped. What? Which one comes first? The storage provider? High secure storage provider. And this should be crypto. There we go. Alright, so the first test is going to be super easy. We just want to verify that the constructor throws. So public void constructor when called with null storage provider, it should throw argument null exception. And we'll actually want the same test for the other dependency. Null crypto. So we'll do new secure config, and we'll pass in null. I'll do mock. I'll do act.should throw argument null exception. Then we'll just reverse these and we'll say mock storage provider dot object, and then we'll do null. Give that a quick test. Method can be synchronous. Oh, this is because I haven't secure config.
Did we just become best friends?
Thank you very much for the sub, Alexandru. Appreciate that. I've not seen somebody's name spelled like that, Alexandru. Okay, I want to get rid of these. So you wait, task.delay. We have to configure await false. Let's also do I should get rid of some of those warnings. Storage providers never used, crypto providers never used. So let's use them so it'll go away. We'll do crypto provider dot decrypt. Now we'll just do what else? Crypto provider storage provider dot delete. and we want to await it. Okay, now we should be able to run our tests. And hopefully they all pass. Alright, they did not all pass. Cannot create proxy for type stephenfreeborn.extensions.configuration because it is not accessible. Make it public or internal. Mark your assembly with dynamic proxy gen assembly. Okay, that's what I want to do. Hey, 199, good to see you. Been grinding out of my home lab for study and learning from my interview. That's awesome, dude. I hope you're all prepped and ready to go. It's good to see you. Real neat. What are you building? I am building a configuration provider for .NET applications that allows encryption and decryption. So encryption when the file is stored on disk, or honestly, in the future, the location of the configuration could be anything, but in this case, I'm building it initially just to store a JSON file that's encrypted on disk. So basically, instead of me having to implement this over and over again, I just have one library that supports storing configuration values in an encrypted JSON file, and I install the package, and then I just use it, instead of having to re-implement it all the time. Because I think I've implemented it 3 times now at this point. So that's what we're building. I am not done with the physical OS app. So that will come back on stream as soon as I get my first bill from plaid.com. I will get back to building on it. I'm hedging my bet and not sinking any more time or energy into it if it's going to end up being too costly to operate in its current form. I don't think that's going to be the case based on the contract pricing that they gave me. It should just be 30 cents is what my bill should be for this first month of usage. But I didn't want to just take their word for it, I wanted to actually test that was indeed the case. So we'll definitely bring it back on stream. Hey man, I applied to one role in big tech in the Baltics region. Where's the Baltics? Is that like Eastern Europe? Baltics. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. There seems like there's a lot of .NET developers in that part of the world. Let's see. My friend works in that company, referred me. ChatGPT says chance is low, but I applied it either way. Did I make the right decision? Oh, you should always apply. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You should always apply. Even if you don't think you're qualified, if you feel like you're interested in the job, especially if you have a friend that works there who can put in a good word for you, you should always apply. Worst thing that can happen is they never call you. Next best thing that happens is they call you. Next best thing is they want to bring you in for an interview. Then they want to offer you. Then you get a job. So it's only upside to put your name in the ring. Worst case, they never contact you and you just go on with your life. Best case, you get a job. Damn, it's been so long since I last time talked on one of your streams. Hope you didn't forget me. Hey Koga, it has been a long time. I think I vaguely remember you. Vaguely, but it's definitely been it's definitely been many months because I do not recognize your username within the last couple months. Yes, Kogarashi. Nice. Well, I'm glad you're here, Kogarashi. Good to see you again. Hope life is treating you well. All right, let's begin implementing some functionality for setting configuration. We want... I usually like to have my test in the class I'm testing open. It's kind of hard to do in a small little window like this, but I'm going to try to make this work. All right, so what should set async do? So set async should take care of serialization and encryption, which is why it has a storage provider and why it has a crypto provider. So let's say public async task set async when called. It should serialize given value and encrypt it. Good morning, Born to Shine. Good to see you. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. That's the full one. I kind of changed it. Oh, no worries. Yeah, change your username all you want. I feel like people do that more often than I realize. I like never change my username. Once I make it on a platform, that's what it is. And I usually just try to stick with my real name instead of coming up with a clever one. When I used to play a lot of video games with my friends, they used to always make fun of me because they all had like really clever, cool gamer tags, and my gamer tag was just Steven. Like Oblivion has a good username. I don't know if she's still here, but she has a great username, Oblivion. Bob Knoll is pretty good. There's one guy that has that I haven't seen him in a while, but he's got a username here on YouTube called, oh, it's something dev related. Now I can't, if I wouldn't have said that, I would be able to remember it. Shit. I don't know. Whenever I see good usernames, I'm always very jealous because I just don't have the I don't have the creativity in me, I guess. I've only had 3 online names in my life. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. It's a great one. Oh, also, I'm glad you're still here. Oblivious is my nick/stage name, and Oblivion has been my IGN. I love it. King Brownie. I try to limit the amount I put my real name online. Okay, that me and you have taken the opposite strategy to our online life. Because my real name is present. My whole online presence is just my real name. Which I guess probably has some like negatives to it. But it is what it is. I guess my opinion has always been like I just don't want someone else to like control my online presence. You know? Like I would hope that if somebody searches, puts my name into Google, that the information that I put out online is what comes up and not something somebody else has put up. Dude, that scared the shit out of me. Hey Google, stop. Dude, that scared the crap out of me. I've got a Google speaker in my basement, and for whatever reason it thought I was talking to it. Whew. My heart rate just jumped like 20 beats per minute. I thought somebody was down here in the basement with me. It scared me. Okay, focus. Valid. My name is pretty unique. My LinkedIn and Instagram pop up when you Google me, but I only post professional things with my name. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't see that's I guess the part of my online experience is I've never been one that is done like quote unquote maybe non-professional thing. Like I've always just done like I haven't put anything online that I would necessarily wouldn't want people to know that I've done. Right? I guess that's the approach that I've taken. Like if I'm not willing to put my name on it, I probably shouldn't be doing it. Oh my gosh, I had a Discord call going to my speakers, but I had completely forgotten I was in. Said call for over a day. Someone started talking and my soul left my body as I was playing a game. Thought someone was in my room. It's the worst experience. It's very scary when stuff like that happens. King Brownie, I used to be a meme lord as a teenager. Glad my name isn't attached to it. That a meme lord? What's a meme lord? I've never heard that term. Meme lord. That's pretty funny. A person known for creating disturbing memes. Disturbing is a spectrum though, so hopefully it wasn't. Let's see, private. Let's do, or not private. Let's do public. Actually, we can do this. Let's do string key string value. Or let's do port. Nah, nothing disturbing, just not workplace appropriate. That not safe for work content. I see. I guess it depends on your work though, right? You know? Depends on who you work with. And I hate that for whatever reason, whenever I do my code actions, nothing's popping up. That wasn't an issue last night when I was programming. Okay, and then we'll do await system under test set async. We'll pass in our key, pass in our config. And then we should be able to say, so basically what we want to do is we just want to make sure that we call the write method on the underlying storage provider. So we'll do verify that m.write async was called. And the question is, how do we... So we want to also make sure it verifies that it's encrypted. So since we're using a mock for our crypto provider, we can actually say mock crypto provider. And we can say setup, right? Setup m, and we can say m dot encrypt, and we can say returns encrypted string. So let's just say var encrypted string equals encrypted string that. Now you're complaining because you need text. So this should get called with the serialized JSON. Like that. And then the write async, all we need to do is we just need to verify that it was called with the encrypted string. Oh, and the key. And then the cancellation token we don't need. And we should also say times once. So basically what we're doing is we've set up kind of our dummy test data. Then we're mocking the crypto call to say, hey, we just want to make sure whatever crypto provider we passed in, we should call the encrypt method with the value that we passed in, which in this case is some serialized JSON. And then it should return the encrypted, this method will return our mock encrypted string. And then we just want to verify that the underlying storage provider was called with that encrypted string. Now this is going to fail because we haven't actually implemented this, but that's the idea. Oblivion, why is SteveSpot talking about commands every 5 minutes on repeat? So I set up some timers because I didn't know how many people actually that come to my streams know that there are commands. So I set up some timers in StreamerBot to do that, kind of like Nightbot has that same functionality. I can reduce it though if you think it needs to be less frequent. Like I can set, I think right now it's random between 5 and 10 minutes, but I can make it 10 and 15 minutes. Would that be better? Let's see, 15 minutes is 15 times 60, 900. Edit. But I just wanted people to have like awareness that like, hey, I have some stream commands that you can use. And then I also wanted people to have my links in case they ever, because people people show up in your stream and they're, the first thing I always think is like, well, who's this guy? And then I want to know about who the guy is. I want to see his LinkedIn. I want to go to his GitHub. I kind of want to get like a feel for his universe. And so trying to make that easy for people. Is there no option for every 20 messages or so there is options for lines. So we could do lines. Is that better? Let's see. Edit. So instead of time based, make it lines based. So let's do every 20. I think lines is how they measure messages. So we'll do every 20. Try that. Every 20. Let's see. By default, timed actions will repeat. Right, timed actions can either be set on interval, where they will occur every X seconds, or a line count, where they will cover every Y lines. If both options are set, then both criteria must be met for the action to occur. The action will only run if Y number of lines have been said, and if X seconds have passed. Okay, so do that. And we'll do... Well, I guess we probably do want a time increment in there too. So we'll set that to 20. And then we'll say if more than 5 minutes have gone by. So get basically 20 lines in 5 minutes, then we'll send it. I appreciate your feedback. Okay, that's been updated. Oh no, that entails that Instagram content moderators have basically anything under the sun considered safe for work. Jonathan Mitchell, putting in that time. Yeah, just doing what I enjoy doing, I mean, the thing is, like, I'm not grinding at all. This is just fun,
Did we just become best friends?
Big Bang, thanks for the sub. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. All right, so that failed. So let's go implement it. Let's go implement this. So I think the first thing we should do is we should check to make sure that the key is not null. So argument null exception dot throw. Oh, this doesn't exist in, okay, that sucks. So we can just say if string dot is null or white space key, then we can do throw new argument null exception, name of key, and then let's also add a test for this. W. Let's do fact public async set async when called with null key. It should throw argument null exception. And let's also do the same validation on the value, because I don't want to really store null values, honestly. When called with null key, when called with null value. In which case, then all I have to do is set up an action. So we'll do var action equals async. This should be await dot set async null key, and we'll just do string dot empty. And then we should do await act dot should dot throw async argument null exception, like that. And let's flip these. So this would be key, and this would be null. Type of argument for method cannot be inferred from usage. Try specifying. Okay, specify string. Bro, I need a project idea, please. Something rare. I don't really have a good project idea. I said this on last night's stream. Most of my ideas just come from problems I have. So like this library that I'm building, I implemented the same code in this term chat TUI that I built that I implemented in 2 other CLIs, and so I was like, this is dumb. Let's make a class library, right? That's 99% of the things I build. Like the Rust project, right? A Notepad application. I like to use Notepad. I don't know why. So let's just build one in Rust. I wish I was more creative. Pablo, quiet morning. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet morning. My streams have been quiet lately. My viewership is declining on my streams, but all the regular folks are here, so that's totally fine with me. Project idea generator. This guy knows what's up. There you go, Born to Shine. Yeah, there you go. You could pack some LLM in there too. The thing, I think the reason why I like to build things that I care about is that actually makes it meaningful to me, right? Like sometimes it's, if I build something just for the sake of learning, even, it's sort of hard to get motivated. But if I can find a good overlap between, here's a piece of software that I could actually use maybe, right? Or am interested in how something like this is built, and I learn something in the process, like that's kind of the sweet spot. Pablo, YouTube being bad at recommending you, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think my streams are particularly entertaining. Like when I watch people like the Primeagen or TJ or Pirate Software, any of those guys, like I kind of understand why they have such big streams because they're funny and they're smart and they like talk good. And I do none of those things. And they're also really good developers, right? And it's like, and they build interesting kind of novel stuff, and I don't do any of those things. I have a very dumb project that I don't know if I'll ever build. A lot of Fantastic console with a cool concept for the OS file system and applications. That sounds cool. You should do it, Pablo. I'm all for it. Pablo, they sound dumb sometimes. Yeah, the problem is they sound dumb sometimes, and I sound dumb most of the time. Born to Shine, thanks, man. Of course, yeah. I wish I had better advice for you. I just don't. I don't have better advice than that. Oh, that's not gonna build. Okay, let's just do the implementation. So let's do if if value is null, then we're also gonna throw here. And then now what we'll do is we'll say var JSON equals JSON serializer dot serialize value. I need to import that. There we go. Now my code actions are working. Huh, I wonder why my code actions weren't working earlier. It's weird. And then we'll do var encrypted string. Yeah, encrypted string equals, well, I'm gonna do encrypted value. No, yeah, encrypted value string. And then we'll do crypto provider dot encrypt JSON. And then we'll say await storage provider dot write async. This will take a key. So take our encrypted value, and this will take our cancellation token. We have to call configure await false. We don't know the context we're in. And I think that should make all our tests pass, and we should actually build now. Hell yeah. Steven, you're so humble, man. But it's not, I mean, it is, I do value being a humble person, but the truth of the fact is I'm just like a normal, regular person, you know, like I'm just a 32-year-old dad in Kansas. I'm trying to figure out how to get from where I'm at now to a point where I can retire, right? And I'm trying to pass the time by doing things I enjoy, which is writing code and making content, you know? But they sound dumb, like they are pretending to be smart when they are actually dumb. Being dumb is fine. Being dumb is fine. I like that. Yeah, average human being is best human being. Yeah, I think we need more like just normal on the internet, right? So maybe if I can just bring some more normalness, or my version. I mean, what is normal really? But like, if I can just bring some more averageness to the internet, that's probably a good thing, a net positive. Good morning, Dira. I saw you put the tangled command in. The tangled thing is pretty interesting. It's like a GitHub, but built on the app proto. I don't know how much I'll end up using it because I just set up my own Git server, but I really like the idea of building on app proto. I would like to build something on the app proto protocol, or that I guess it'd be the app protocol, but I have yet to go down the deep rabbit hole. Not having some autocomplete while you code is definitely not normal. Yeah, you mean some AI power? You mean AI powered autocomplete? Yeah, it's not the most normal nowadays. But man, I sure do feel better about life now that I've kind of removed some of that. I'm having more fun coding. Get some dumb AI at least, yeah, or intelligence. I do definitely have intelligence. Just no, there's no AI right now. Although Pablo Bob, one of my other chatters, he convinced me yesterday to put open code on my machine and then wired up with Gemini CLI so that I can have like more. I can have conversation with Gemini, but that has the context of the code. And he said, I don't know if this is true, but he told me if I put it in plan mode, it shouldn't try to write code, right? So that's more of what I'm going for is like I want to interact with an AI that has awareness of where I am and what I'm doing, but I don't really want it to be like, well, let me do that for you, you know? Just ask, let me try. Ask mode. So there's plan and build. Let's see, modes. Ask. There should be. I wish there was an ask mode because there is an ask mode in Copilot. There should. You're right. That's actually would be a really great mode. Does OpenCode let you build your own modes like Copilot? OpenCode mode. I'm super new to OpenCode. I literally installed it yesterday. Let's see, modes in OpenCode. Different modes for different use cases. OpenCode comes with two built-in modes, build and plan. So plan, a restricted mode designed for planning and analysis. In plan mode, the following tools are disabled by default. Write, edit, patch, bash. You can customize the built-in modes or create your own through configuration. Modes can be configured in two ways. JSON configuration. I'm just reading their docs is what I'm doing right now. So it looks like we could build an ask mode. You can also specify your own prompt. That's cool, right? So I wonder if somebody has one out there. Open code ask mode. Must try Kilo code. It is what you want. It's a fork of open code. Kilo code. But I don't. Why would we want to use a fork? Why wouldn't we just want to support the open code guys? Kilo, the open source AI coding agent for VS Code, powered by OpenClaw. So someone just basically took all of OpenCode's work. Classic open source. Oh, did they like productize it? Oh, they did. They productized it as pricing and everything. Trusted by developers at the world's most innovative companies. So what's the difference between standard or so they don't have a free one. It's you get a 1 week free trial. Oh no, that's Kilo Claw, sorry. Free and open source. So what's the difference between Kilo Code and Open Code? Codex is also good. Kilo Code is absolutely free. Let's see, Cursor also has a CLI. Cursor also has ask mode. Okay, very cool. So just do all of those. Does Kilo and Cursor integrate with Gemini? Can I use my Gemini subscription with those things? You should be able to build your own mode. Yeah, that's what I'd like to do is King Brownie, I use Plan to ask stuff. Yep, Cursor has a setting page where you can use your API keys. See, I don't know if my Google subscription allows me to use a cloud API key. I think I can only use my Google account. Well, maybe someone just has a built-in. feature. No, I don't want context free. You can configure this yourself. We're considering making it native, but needs more. Here's some useful information. Let's see. Thanks for the workaround, but there's also a predefined prompt for an empty agent. I just want to chat with the agent the same way I do on. No, I don't. That's not what I want. I still want it to be able to read and stuff. So what are the built-in tools? Maybe plan mode is what I want, because it sounds like the only thing that you get is. I basically want this. What are the built-in tools here? We're kind of getting sidetracked by this, but I'm just curious now. Oh, they don't have a search bar? That's interesting. Overview, configure, usage, customize. Let's see, open code, built-in tools. So here are the built-in tools. We have bash, we have edit, write, read, grep, glob, list, patch, web fetch, web search, question. So it seems like plan mode is what I want. It may use more tokens than what I probably might want it to, but it seems like the plan mode is plenty sufficient. Because it disables everything that you wouldn't want if you didn't want your agent to modify stuff. So I'll roll with that for a little while and see how it works. And then if it's not useful to me, we'll try one of the other things. So we got cursor. We've got kilo code somebody recommended, so we can try those. Much vibrant. It would take you 20 seconds to try kilo code. It is very similar to open code, but has more integrations. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that on the back burner. If I find that open code in plan mode isn't doing what I want it to. I mean, obviously anything is going to be better than what I've been doing, which is what I've been doing is I've been using the Gemini chat interface, and I've just been copying my code into here. I've also been using the import code functionality for repositories on GitHub. So that works somewhat. It's a little slow, but I just want the kind of rich context of the code base when I am talking to the agent. So I'll start with this and see how it goes. That is indeed by far the worst AI workflow, and I commend you for it. Yeah, it is. It is the worst workflow, and yeah, I'm trying honestly to have as much friction between me and just defaulting to AI writing code, because I really don't want to go back to the world where I feel dependent on an LLM to write code. I don't recommend Gemini with plan mode. Use one of the free models they provide. Gemini doesn't respect the harness. Oh, really? Okay. I'll keep that in mind. I'm going to use Gemini because I personally like the model, but if it doesn't respect the harness, then I'll definitely port to one of the others. I've been seriously considering investing in some computer that would be solely dedicated to using as like an Olama server, because the idea, I really want to be able to have access to a large language model without having to be beholden to paying for it on a monthly basis. So I've been considering trying to sort that out. The whole self-host, I've been bit by the self-hosting bug lately. And so I'm seriously considering trying to see if I can't figure out the local LLM stuff. Much vibrant. Have you tried anti-gravity? I have not tried anti-gravity. I like Gemini 2, but can't use it in plan mode. The free ones they provide require no setup. Just Control X and scroll down. So Control X, Control X. Well, can't you just, hold on. Can't I just do this? Models? Oh, these are all Gemini ones. Oh, so these are the ones it provides open, let's see, Big Pickle. Wait a minute, Big Pickle? Did I just read that? Is that the name of a model? That's hilarious. What's the story behind that? Big Pickle. Open code model. That's hilarious. Big Pickle is GLM 4.6. Okay. Isn't GLM 4.7 the one that Olama recommends? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I was actually trying this out the other day. I was using Olama. I was using GLM 4.7 Flash in the Claude Code harness, and that worked pretty well. That worked pretty well. So Big Pickle is 4. I wonder why they named it Big Pickle. Pickle has infinite usage. Nemotron throttles your token rate after a while. Okay, cool. That's good to know. GLM is really nice. GLMs are the cheap models. They try to compete with Claude. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I had a good experience yesterday or the day before doing something with GLM in Claude Code. Yeah, the harness is actually I underestimated how because I hadn't used Claude Code and I had been using Copilot CLI and the Gemini CLI. And Claude Code, like you can tell a big, I mean, Open Code too, you can tell a big difference in the quality of the harness. So, subjectively, obviously, I haven't measured anything myself, but just subjectively, I feel like the Claude Code harness is pretty good. They've obviously put a lot of work into it. If you got Gemini Pro, you should try anti-gravity. It will also give you Sonnet and Opus 4.6, but yeah, you need to tell Gemini not to touch code. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, I'll definitely keep those things in mind. Thobuson, we doing AI today? No, we were talking about kind of my AI workflow at the moment. Is I don't really want AI doing any coding for me, but I do want to be able to have conversations about my code, or at least have conversations in the context of my code. And right now it's kind of painful because I've been just copying, code to the Gemini chat interface. And so I've been trying to find a way to make that less painful. And so one of the things somebody suggested on yesterday's stream was using Open Code with my Gemini subscription in plan mode. But then chat today is saying that we should also think about using some other tools. So I'm going to try this for a little bit, maybe a couple weeks. And if this doesn't work well, then I'll switch over to something different. 5 Licello. Steven, do you have any AI subscriptions? I do. So I pay for Gemini. And I used to pay for Copilot, but I recently just canceled Copilot. Haunted Rob, if you do that with Olama, please let us watch. Yes, I for sure would make it part of the channel. Yeah. I don't think I will do anything crazy expensive, but I'd like to try to see if I can't find, for $1,000, try to find some machine that can run like a GLM model relatively performantly. But yeah, I just need to sit down and do some research. I'm sure there's people out there who have answers for me. I just need to go and find them. Pablo, I sent Super Maven for autocomplete on Discord and an open code integration for Nvim. Okay. Of course there's an open code. You know, of course there's an open code integration for Nvim, because why wouldn't there be? Isn't Super Maven the thing that Primogen uses? Or was using at some point? Thank you very much, Pablo, for sending those. Let's see. Integrate the open code AI assistant with Nvim, streamline editor-aware research, reviews, and requests. Oh, that's really cool. So it just puts it as a sidebar. I like that. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, I'm starring that one. I don't know if I want to go back to autocomplete. I will star the Super Maven thing, but I just don't know if I want to bring AI. It's too much of a temptation, you know, to bring AI into the editor. It's too much of a temptation to just let the AI write it. But I like the idea of having open code in Nvim. Eddie, love your streams, buddy. Oh, thank you very much, Eddie. That's super kind of you, man, to say that. Appreciate you. They got acquired by Cursor, but Super Maven still exists. Very cool. Very cool. You can put a 5060 Ti with 16 gigabytes of VRAM for like $300 into an old Optiplex. Would need a new PSU, but those are cheap. You think that kind of a setup is enough, King Brownie, for doing something with a local model? It's my plan once I have some extra money. Okay, that's good to know. I wasn't sure how beefy of a GPU, you know. Try Super Maven, then disable it. It's not invasive. Kurtz, don't join the dark side. Paula, it generally predicts exactly what you were about to type. 5060 Ti is enough for small 3 billion. So what would I don't know how many of you guys are experts on this stuff, so don't feel like you need to, you can say you don't know. That's totally okay. But so if I wanted to run 4 point, if I wanted to run one of those GML models, oh, that's not what I want. Where is it? Models. If I wanted to run this one, so this is 30 billion. Like, what would that take from like a software perspective? Let's see. It should, or a hardware perspective, it should be enough specifically for the smaller models. Might be able to quantize a 30 billion model to run on 16 gigs. You're not going to get anything better for self-hosting. I didn't know that was enough. I have a 4080 Super, and I thought it wasn't enough. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't know, and I don't have any. Well, I do have some laptops that have some laptop GPUs in them, but I'm thinking just given the state of the world, and if AI or if LLMs are going to continue to be a thing, but it's very obvious that a lot of the LLM services we're using are heavily subsidized in terms of the cost. I think it would probably behoove me to invest in at least having access to a local LLM, right? That's just consumes my electricity and doesn't require me to have a subscription. Oh, Pablo just sits some documentation. Thank you, guys. You guys are being so helpful. I appreciate it. GML 4.7 Flash, how to run locally. This is exactly what I was looking for. It runs on 24 gigabytes of RAM. Okay. For best performance, make sure your total available memory exceeds the size of the quantized model file you're downloading. If it doesn't, it can still run via SSD, but inference will be slower. See, I don't want slow inference. The inference needs to be fast. Do they make any recommendations on hardware though? Llama server. Hardware. I think that's just up at the top. The only thing they really talk about is the 24 gigabytes of RAM. Okay, well if anybody finds like a done for you machine that you could just buy and do this with, yeah, please send me the link. Otherwise, I need to do some research to figure out what to buy. I don't really want to build anything. I just want to buy something off the shelf. I'm gonna bookmark this. I know I'm being lazy about it, but I just don't really want to build anything. Eddie, what did Eddie say? I was avoiding AI coding as much as I can, but I understand I can't avoid it anymore. Any suggestions on how to get into this shit? Yeah, what Pablo said is the right answer. I'm still, Eddie, just to be transparent, I'm still just not, I'm leaning away from using AI to write code. I'm definitely using AI as like a better search slash pair programmer slash reviewer, like talking to AI about my code or asking questions about things I don't understand or things I potentially want to do and get ideas about, but I'm still leaning away from like having it do the code generation for me. I'm still trying to make sure I'm writing code and coming up with solutions on my own. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong if you're curious and you want to explore it. I think kind of like Pablo said, like try it all. Try AI autocomplete, try agentic development, try a variety of different harnesses, and because I do think there's probably like some benefit to at least, even if you don't like the AI development or the agentic development, at least being somewhat aware of it and being familiar with what it feels like to work with it is probably beneficial. Especially given the market right now where every company is trying to shove AI down every developer's throat. It's VRAM mainly, and then bitrate between CPU and GPU. Okay. Laugh my ass off. Buy a DGX Spark then? What's a DGX Spark? Is that the NVIDIA computer? Oh my god, bro. 5,000. You need a $5,000 PC to run these things? That's crazy. Is that true? Like, are we being honest right now? Like, if I really am considering having an Olama server, I have to invest $5,000 to get at it. That's crazy. Come on, there's got to be a cheaper way to do it, right? It's not what you want, but why not get a subscription for Olama so you can use the better cloud models? Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all either. Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. It's a beauty. It's a horse that. Hold on, what Toad? Where? Good morning, Toad Sage. When did you enter the chat? And what are you talking about? It's a horse that you only ride, can't stop it. AI. Oh. David Bailey. Australian diesel is $3.50 a liter at the moment. Well, I think gas here in Kansas is $4. I think it was $3.90 when I looked at the gas station yesterday when I was at Walmart. Let's see, gas near me. Everything's about ready to get real expensive, David. Is it? Let's see, it looks like as of today, I'm on gas, buddy. $3.30. It looks like as of 1 hour ago at a Casey's gas station. 330 here. Yeah, it's only going up, man. It's only going up, and I'm sorry. It's my president's fault, so I apologize. Yeah, if you want to run 100 billion plus models, you need something like a DGX Spark. Okay. Yeah, DGX Spark, 48 gigabytes unified MIM, framework desktop 48 gigabytes, or Mac Studio with unified MIM. A $200 secondhand GPU will run Olama. Small models, but they'll run. Yeah, see, I want something that's similar to what I can get through like the Olama cloud models, but I want it to be able to be local. I don't think I need like a 60 billion. I don't know. Maybe go big or go home. Honey, I spent $5,000 so we can run local AI models. The problem is my wife will be like, if I told my wife that, my wife would be like, sure, honey, that makes sense. Is that what you needed? And if I say, yeah, that's what I need to do, she'll be like, okay. So I have to be the responsible one with the monies. Good to see you, Kajani. Hope you're doing well. Kurt's so much winning. Let's see, David Bay, 330 per gallon. You're looking at this crazy, dude. 30 billion would be your cap for cheap hardware. Okay, that's good to know. I think she wouldn't be happy with that. Yeah, W wife. Yeah, she is a W wife, but then it makes it too easy to spend all your money. Pablo, 3K for a framework desktop could be enough. All right. Honey, I bought a new framework desktop. I'm practicing my pitch here. 32 gigabytes, 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes. Wow. 128 gigabytes of memory? That's awesome. That's awesome. How expensive can I make this computer? See, the problem is though, like, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go back to writing code instead of thinking about how I can justify spending several $1,000s on local AI models. Eddie, thanks for answering, guys. Have a good day. Of course, Eddie. Yeah, thanks for hanging out, man. And I think whatever you decide to do with AI, you'll be fine, man. Don't let all the hype get to you. Bro said she is a W wife, but she's a W wife, right? But I know I have to be the responsible one. Grab the max if possible. Yeah, I would love to. 128 gigs. Let's go. Meanwhile, me on my 16 gigs of DDR3 and a 1050 Ti. Well, you know, there's always the next thing to buy though, Kajani. There's always the next thing to buy. If you want to avoid a performance hit, you need VRAM, not system RAM. Okay, good to know. Eddie, I just wonder, do you usually stream before or after your main work? So I normally stream before work. So I usually wake up at like 4:15 a.m. my time, Central Standard Time, and then I stream till about 7.
Did we just become best friends?
And then go to work. Someone just subbed. Who was it? Alfonso? Yeah, I think Alfonso Mar. Thanks for the sub, man. I appreciate that. I wish I had the money. I need a new PC though. One of these days, Kajani. One of these days, I'm sure you'll get it. I'm sure you'll get it. Just takes time, you know? Just takes time. Eddie, what? 4:15 a.m. When do you go to sleep, man? It depends. The past 3 or 4 nights, I've been really bad about staying up late. That's actually how the TUI, the chat TUI, got built. Was I stayed up on Friday night till like 3 a.m. I had burnt peanut up on one screen, and then I had my code, and I have been working on the TUI for about 2 months now, but I just made one big push on Friday, and I stayed up way too late. And then I did that again on Saturday night. But normally I try to fall asleep like between 8 and 10 at night is usually when I try to fall asleep. The thing that screws up my sleep routine is opening my laptop late at night. If I open my laptop late at night, then I end up like falling down a rabbit hole. It just always happens. So I try to avoid doing that. Hello, Dom. Good to see you. Kurt, you need child lock? Yeah, exactly. That's what I need a child lock. Yeah. I need to brick. Have you seen that device that it's called Brick, and you put it on your phone and it bricks your phone? That's what I need for my laptop. Yeah. Kurt's a little extreme. It is a little extreme. Eddie, you are a very disciplined man. You just gave me motivation to improve my sleep schedule. I'm not. I mean, if you talk to my wife, she'll tell you my sleep schedule over the years has been horrendous. But I really wanted to start streaming regularly, and the best time I could find to like do like a 2 hour stream every day was super early in the morning, just given the fact that I work and have kids and all that. So it was actually kind of the stream forced me to try to sort out my sleep schedule a little bit, honestly, so that I could actually get up early. Kajani, local AI is fun and stuff, but I think it's too much hassle. I actually am. So, Kajani, I am there with you on that. Like, I share that perspective. The only reason I'm thinking about doing the local thing is because I kind of get really bummed out when I pay $10 a month for using the AI and then I get rate limited. That it bums me out. It feels like, oh, you guys have access to something and I can't have any more of it unless I give you more money, right? And I know somebody's going to say, well, if you use a local model, you're just paying the electric company instead, which is true. But for whatever reason, I chafe at it less. You know, I don't know why. It just in my brain, I don't know how that makes sense, but it's like, ah, oh, you're gonna rate limit me? No, I'm gonna get my own AI. I'm gonna get my own metered intelligence. But I do understand what you're saying about it being too much of a hassle. David Bailey, I paid for my product. Where's my product? Honda Rob, it took me 6 months last year to build my work patterns around the rate limits. Yeah, see that, but doesn't that feel bad, Haunted Rob? Like I understand the necessity to do that if you're using AI a lot or having to use AI a lot. I think some people are in work scenarios where they have to use AI to accomplish what's being asked of them in terms of productivity. But doesn't that kind of feel shitty to have to build around the rate limits? I don't know. I don't like that experience. It does lots of energy out into task management. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, so I feel like if AI is gonna be a part of my life, I kind of want my own version of it. Doesn't mean I necessarily might not use subscriptions, but I'd at least like the option if I want to use a local setup I can. Buying a workstation just to host AI is a crazy investment. I mean, it all seems like a crazy investment to me, but sometimes, sometimes you just get you get bit by it. You get nerd sniped. That's what happens. You nerd snipe yourself. I wonder if I could, and then all of a sudden you fall down a a rabbit hole. Oops. Excuse me, we need more coffee. I'd go the home lab route. 100 Rob, big tasks get moved toward the end of the 5-hour cycle whenever possible. Nice, nice. In my opinion, a single GPU to stick in an old PC is best performance / cost ratio. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I appreciate all you guys being willing to share your thoughts and opinions and your knowledge. It's very kind. Pablo, do you already have a workstation you can add a graphics card to? I don't think so, no.
Kelsey says that was a big yawn, my guy.
It was a big yawn. Good morning, honey. Yeah, I need to come upstairs and get more coffee. I didn't realize it's already 6 o'clock. So I don't have a graphics card or something I could put a graphics card into already, Pablo. So it would probably be this would be a dedicated purchase with the sole purpose of like using it for this AI thing for local models. Maybe I just have to accept that I have to do the work and I have to build something if I want it to be cost effective. But I'd really like to just buy something and plug it in and set it up, do the software installs and whatnot. Low key, I kind of want to make my Raspberry Pi into a Linux coding thingy. I know how to do it, but I don't know how to code. Well, that would be a good excuse to learn to code, right? If you if you turn your Pi into a kind of a remote server that you code on, then you'd have a reason to learn how to code, right? So you can make use of your Pi. It sounds like a great plan to me. For running local LLMs, all you need is VRAM and memory bandwidth. The way to go is to get a used HP, throw a Tesla in it, and it will be $300. My company sells used Linux boxes just for LLM inference. Really, Kevin? So could you hook me up? Could you hook me up, Kevin, with some with one of these Linux boxes? And what is a Tesla? You said throw a Tesla in it. What does that mean? Throw a Tesla in it. Is that like an Nvidia product or something? Let's see, very possibly could send you one. Let me go ask. It's an older data center card with 16 gigabytes VRAM for under $100. Okay, if you can hook me up with one, yeah, I will buy one. That's pretty cool. I didn't know there was businesses that were doing that. That was a big yawn. All right, one more yawn, and then we're gonna get coffee because I don't think the yawning is gonna slow down. This should be returns JSON, right? Or returns async. Under $100, I'll take 10.
Kelsey says, you should get proper sleep.
Or I did get proper sleep though. I went to bed at a good time last night. I think I went to bed at 10. It's much better than the 2 nights before. Kevin's gonna make bank from this chat, yeah. And you get a LLM machine, and you get an LLM machine.
Kelsey says one night, oh, wow.
Hey, I'm doing the best I can, okay? I'm trying. How many people we got on Twitch? I don't know, actually. Let me look. I try not to look at the numbers stuff. Try not to worry about it. I just try to worry about chat. So let me look. Probably like 2. Usually there's nobody over there. Twitch is really hard to grow an audience on. We have 6 viewers on Twitch. It's very difficult to get people on your Twitch channel. I'm not sure how people who want to be full-time Twitch streamers, how they would actually do that. This seems like a very difficult thing to accomplish. I'm heading out, but if Kevin sends the link, please drop it in Discord. For sure. Yeah, if Kevin hooks me up and he can hook you guys up, I'll definitely share the wealth. Have a good day, King Brownie. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you. This would be key. Dummy config, and then we'll do result.should.be equivalent to expected config. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this works. Or no, this won't work because we haven't done the implementation, so it should fail. There we go, it fails, and now we need to go implement it. So where are we? We're get async. So how will we do this? I guess we should ask the storage provider for it, then deserialize and return it. Basically just reverse the... Okay, so first things first, if key is null, actually if key is string dot is empty, null or is empty, then we want to throw new argument null exception. They usually work towards some sort of subscription incentive, get a few hundred subs per month, and you can live off Twitch. That's crazy to think about, you know, but I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're making, let's say you have $10 a month, and you have $10 a month, 100 subs is $1,000, right? So $2,000 a month, roughly. Yeah, a few hundred. So if you get a few hundred, that's what, $5,000 a month? That's definitely somebody could live on that. It just seems really hard. How do you get 500 subs on Twitch? Well, if somebody can help me get 500 subs on Twitch, I would appreciate it. Because that's just based on my own experience, it just seems like it's very hard to drive people to that place. You know, it doesn't seem like there's much organic discovery over there. So it's super impressive, people who can figure that out. I don't understand how any of the creator economy honestly works. See, it should no reference exception. No, not argument null exception. So we'll do, what do we want to do? Action. Any Easter plans? No, not right now. Probably get our kids some Easter baskets and maybe do an Easter egg hunt. I don't think we're visiting any family or anything like that. It's definitely years of efforts. Either you get a random amazing discovery and hit the jackpot, or it takes slow and grueling time. Even nowadays, people who've been at it for 5+ years are finally becoming successful. It could be worse for anyone starting now. That's crazy, man. Well, that speaks. I mean, people sometimes I feel like people don't think that people who stream for a living that it's like a hard thing, but I think they underestimate how much perseverance it takes. You know, a lot of people they'll try to stream, but they do it like for 5 days and then they give up, right? So it's actually pretty impressive when you think of the commitment that these people put in to actually, you know, build it into something they can live off of. It's enjoyable, hard but enjoyable. Yeah, it's a grind. It's impressive that people stick with it that long, 5 years, you know, of doing something and not getting the success you want, and then finally you're able to get it. Okay, so we got string is null or empty. We'll throw. Then we want to do var encrypted data equals await. Excuse me, storage provider dot read. Pass in the key like that. Okay, so that's the encrypted data. So we need to get the data, which is going to be await, or no, this is synchronous. Crypto provider dot decrypt, and we'll pass in the encrypted data. And then now that we have the data, you can go ahead and do the inverse. We can deserialize it, right? Yeah, deserialize it. So then we'll do return JSON serializer dot be serialized to T data. Okay, why are you complaining? I think that's good. I can't decide if I want this to be nullable or not. Maybe I should do try get async, or maybe I can add a try get async. Probably should have a try get. All right, let's run the tests. Success. See you, Haunted Rob. Thanks for hanging out, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, it's good to see you again. I hope you're able to maximize your work during your rate limit periods. Or I guess while your rate limits are not exceeded. I hope you maximize your work. I hate when YouTube censors messages. You can't say anything about pew-pews or your message won't be sent. I'm going to go pew-pew some 7.62 on a half auto AK. Full auto pews are not legal here. I've never shot a semi or an auto. That sounds like fun. Those sound like fun Easter plans. But yeah, I don't think YouTube likes people talking about pew pews. I love the fact, I love that's the words you use to get around the censorship. Yeah, doing my best. I believe it, man. Good luck. Good luck. I appreciate you hanging out, though. Thank you for stopping by the stream. It's super kind of you. All right, public async task get. Oops, this is the wrong file. We want to be up here. So what happens when it doesn't exist? So we'll say when key does not exist, it should return default value. So let's do database key. So the storage provider is going to return well, actually, I think the way I implemented this is never going to return if it doesn't exist, it should return an empty string, right? Let me go read the task. The task result contains the value associated with the specified key or an empty string if the key is not found. So it should return string.empty if it's not found. Mock crypto decrypt. Okay, so then I should probably add a check here, actually, is what I should do. And I should say, if this is an empty string, if encrypted data is string.empty, let's add string dot is null or white space. Then we want to return default. Otherwise, we'll decrypt it and then deserialize it. So we don't need to do that setup because we're never going to get there. We don't need that. So this should be null. That's the default for a reference type. See you, Kajani. All right, I'm going to go upstairs and get some coffee. So if you're not going to hang around, I hope you have a wonderful day. If you are going to hang around, I'll meet you back here with a fresh cup of coffee in like 5 minutes or so. Okay, BRB. Well, Rim, thanks for noticing my Albert Einstein picture. Yeah, I like that painting. Yeah, we're back.
Kelsey says it's mine, not his.
Uh, everything is hers. And I'm okay with it. That's fine. It should remove that right there. Kelsey owns the guy on the stream. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Kelsey says correct. Thank you, Pablo.
Uh, let's see. We're passing the old key. I'm just gonna rename it to key. I don't know why it needs to be old key. Returns. I guess true. Right? Because this returns a Boolean. Also, this should be mock storage provider. And then this guy returns a Boolean flag. So we'll just return true. Not convert. Oh, returns async. And then we'll do var result equals await system under test dot delete. And we'll pass in the key. Doesn't return anything, but it will. And then we can say mock storage provider dot verify. Let's see, result dot should be true. And then verify that m dot delete async. It's called this key, and it was called once times dot once. So let's go to this definition. You don't do anything right now, so right now this should fail. Let's cool. It will. So let's just go ahead and implement it. Return underscore storage provider delete key, pass the cancellation token. And this can be doesn't have to be async anymore. Cannot implicitly convert type. Compiler service. So we can just do this. .NET test, and I think that's the last implementation we need to do for the config. Let's see, secure config .delete async cannot implement because it does not have return type of task. That is an issue with our interface. So this should be task bool. There we go. The type arguments for method delete async cannot be inferred from the usage. Try specifying the type arguments. Where's that coming from? See, that's that. Why does that need to have a generic parameter? It doesn't need to. I don't know why that was there. Doesn't need to be there. Good morning, Blueberry Waffles. Have you ever wanted to take a flamethrower to PowerShell before? I have not. For the most part, it's been a perfectly fine shell to use. I do wish I knew PowerShell, the language, a little better. I do wish that was the case. I think at some point probably should carve out some time and really go deep on PowerShell as a language, you know? But no, as far as like daily usage, like what I use it for, it's perfectly adequate. Okay, now we need to implement some sort of. We need a way to. So by default, the package is going to use a machine key by default. We're going to allow people to specify an encryption key if they want to, but by default, we're just going to use machine information to do that. So we need to implement some sort of way to generate the key. So let's do that next. We have about 15 minutes left. We should be able to hopefully implement that. So let's do machine ID key provider generator. Let's do provider. Let's stick with our theme. Hey, what's up, Bite Slayer? It's been a minute. How you doing? Blueberry, I keep thinking I learned it, then they updated it again. Really? Yeah, no, I haven't gone deep enough with the language. I don't think, you know. For the most part, I use PowerShell primarily for obviously running shell commands. And occasionally, like I did yesterday or the day before last, I did add a new function to my profile for downloading a YouTube video. So occasionally I'll add functions like this, but this is kind of the extent of my PowerShell programming knowledge, is I can implement some basic functions like this is the get YouTube video function. I added a function for modifying my path. I've got some other like I have a function for the BRB message. But like as far as building like complete programs in PowerShell, that's probably would be new for me. Because I know some people like can build like entire libraries and packages and modules and stuff in PowerShell. I also put one in here that's for generating a JWT key that comes in handy. Yeah, this one comes in handy quite a bit. It's just hard. The thing I struggle with the most with languages is just like you're always going to be the best at the one you use the most, and you can't use them all equally, right? It's difficult to like split all your programming time amongst all the languages. So I kind of feel like I learn a language and then I don't use it for a while, and so I'm not very good at it, and then I pick it up again and I get better, and then I stop using it. It seems like there's always this like what do you call it? Learning curve? No, it's not really a learning curve. Like ramp up period. Whenever I switch between languages, there's always a little bit of a ramp up period. Okay, this is going to be an internal class. Machine ID key provider. And actually, let's make it sealed. And then let's go to our tests and we'll say how do you spell it? Cryptography. Machine ID key provider tests. I don't know why that's not working. That's my issue. Python and PowerShell don't get along sometimes when building. C languages work the best with it. The language swaps turn into major headaches. Yes. Yep. Yep. No, I wouldn't say it's major headaches. I would just say it's a little bit of a. It just takes time to get back up to speed with it. You know what I mean? I wonder why Python and PowerShell don't get along. I don't write much Python. I kind of avoid writing Python. If I'm being honest. You have to force Py libraries and pathing into PowerShell. Huh. Interesting. I guess I've never had that problem. I've never really run into much issue. The pips paths always get me? Really? Huh. I've been using UV. Um, have you guys heard of that? UV to manage Python installations. Because I always found it a pain to have different versions of Python installed. So I've been using this kind of like I use Node Version Manager. That's how I've been using UV. Now I know UV comes with all kinds of other benefits, but I've had pretty good luck with it so far. But like I said, I don't typically write much Python. I try to avoid it. We use poetry for Python. Okay, I like it. I don't think I've ever used it before. I've heard of it. It's a little bit more outdated. Okay, like an older tool chain. Okay, so I need to provider. Let's also do machine ID key generator service. Generator. Namespace is going to be this, which we're not going to like. Machine ID generator. ID key. And now we need to add our test class for this. Oh no, that wasn't our test project. Whoop, this should be test then. And this needs to be a public class. Go up to here and do machine ID key. So this is going to be responsible for figuring out what operating system we're on and then generating a key based off information from the machine. So this will be machine ID key generator.cs. This should be internal sealed. Yeah. Now let's figure out how to do the generation. So these tests should be pretty simple. So we should do fact, and let's do public void get machine ID generator. Let's just do get ID. When called, it should return non-empty string. And then let's do fact public void get ID when called multiple times. This is important. When called multiple times, it should return a consistent ID. Let's do private read only. This is going to be our mock iLogger. We're going to want a logger. This. Why are there no code actions? There's got to be a reason for this. There's something about the way my solution is set up. Looks like my solution is set up correctly. But for whatever reason, LSP restart omni sharp. For whatever reason, I'm not getting good IntelliSense or code actions. Huh. That is so weird. Well, we'll just have to do it manually. Using mock. Using...
Did we just become best friends?
Microsoft. Zane, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate it. Microsoft.extensions.logging. Where is this? That's Castle. Oh, I need to add that then as a dependency. Let's see, Microsoft extensions.logging. What package is that? .NET, or sorry, NuGet. Microsoft.extensions.logging. Okay, that's the right package. So we'll need to do .NET add source secure package Microsoft.extensions.logging. So then we can do using Microsoft.extensions. Right? What the hell? What the hell is happening? So if I go here and I do a private read-only I logger, so it's recognized there. So this would be iLogger of machine ID key generator underscore logger equals logger. If our logger is null, row new argument null reference exception, and we'll pass in that up here. Like that. Now why are you complaining? Unused field, that's fine. Cannot convert from iLogger to string. Oh, yep, because this name. All right, so that's why I need that down here. So why are you complaining when I try to use it? I want a mock version of this. I feel like I should be able to bring that in, right? This seems like such a dumb thing to ask, but I think that it's, let's see, if my library project references Microsoft.extensions.logging and my test project references my library project, can't I use the types from the extensions library in my test code? Lady Landry. Hello, Landry. Just finished reading Clean Architecture by Robert Martin. Have enjoyed trying out his principles. Are there any architectures you enjoy using? So I've definitely done some clean architecture myself. I've never read his book. I lately have very much enjoyed using some vertical slice architecture. That's been fun to use. I try not to get too caught up in architectural things. I try to put things where they make the most sense, and try to just follow established sorry, hold on, I'm reading. Okay, so then why am I having this issue? I don't understand. This should be using mock. Is it because I need to build, maybe? I don't know. I do not know. .NET build. Landry, that makes sense. Yeah, so I do find value in those architectural things. It's not that I don't find value in them. I just try not to recreate the wheel so much. I just try to lean into like whatever I've seen other people do. And then if I feel like there's a place where I have a good reason to do something differently, right, then I'll do it differently. But for the most part, I just kind of try to follow like your classic, basic C# idiomatic projects structure. The vertical slice architecture has been interesting to try to implement because it requires you to think a lot differently about like how you group things together. Like classically you put your models in a model folder, put your services in a service folder, put your repositories in a repository, and then when you start thinking of like, okay, if I'm going to try to have a vertical slice architecture, what constitutes a slice, right? And then there's inevitably going to be things that like are cross-cutting right across slices, and where do you put that? So it's a little bit, to me, that architecture feels a little less natural to implement, but it's been fun to try to use it. Hello, Dev Voyage AI. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. In vertical slices, each slice is independent, right? No shared models. Yes, that's the goal is to have everything that's related and to each other kind of co-located, right? So like imagine if you have like an add task feature. Everything that facilitates the adding of a task kind of would be in the same organizational hierarchy. But to your point, you almost always have things that are cross-cutting, right? You're going to have code that you use in multiple places across slices. And so then it kind of feels like, oh, I'm doing, that's like it's like everything with architecture is like there's always the exception to the rule. It's like, yes, we follow that until this case, and then we do something different. A lot of people, it's funny, a lot of people actually, though, hate clean code nowadays. I see a lot of people online, 10 years ago, you weren't a real software developer, I feel like, if you didn't know clean code. And now you're not a real software developer if you use clean code. Which is kind of funny. Yeah, it gets a ton of hate. Good morning, Ahir. Good to see you. I'm sure in 10 more years you'll get all the love, though. This is how these things go. They go in cycles. We hate it now, we love it later. That's why I like purpose building the architecture from the start, depending on what approaches match current and long-term criteria. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, lucky for me, I've never had to support anything for multiple decades, I think it's hard to I don't know. It's always hard to make the right decisions when those decisions have to hold up over many years, you know? Okay, I cannot figure out why this. I don't know if it's because I haven't had enough coffee, or maybe I haven't. There we go. There we go. Now it's working. I think I just needed to restore. Private, read only, mock, logger of type machine ID key generator. God dang, that was such a pain in the butt. Mock logger equals new. And then we'll bring these in. This is going to be using mock, and then this is going to be using photography. Wonderful. And then we'll have a private read-only machine ID key generator, which will be our system under test. And then we'll have a public constructor where we instantiate this with the mock logger object like that. And now we're off to the races. We can do var result equals system under test dot get. Actually, we can just, this can be a one-liner. We can do get ID dot should dot not be empty. This. We need to implement the get ID method. So let's go here. Let's do public string get ID. Oops. And for now, let's just return string.empty. So this is going to be an interface. So let's go ahead and extract the interface out of this. And I don't know if that's what it's going to be called. I don't know. That may not be it may not actually end up being called that. And then let's just use the logger. So we'll say logger.log information generating key or getting key. What's this complaint about? For improved performance, use logger message delegates instead of logger. I don't want to do that. It's so much extra code to implement that. So we can do CA1848. Although, since this is a library, we probably should do that. We probably should do things in the most performant way. For improved performance, use logger message CA1848. CA1848. Is it really 7:15 already? Holy crap. So let's do this. And this needs to be partial. And then, hey, why are you complaining? You're complaining because what? It's not used? Well, how do I fix that error? Let's see. Logger, message, logger. Delegates. High performance logging. For a simple log message, define a partial method with the attribute specifying the event ID, log level, and message template. Okay. I'm not going to keep this here. I just want to use this to compile. So let's do log. Or let's just say did something. Missing XML comments. This can be public, but this should be internal. Okay. And then can we, does that mean we can now do we still are injecting the logger. Define logger message with scope. Let's see, legacy approach. Logger message dot define. That's how you did it in the old days. Logger message. So does that mean I can now call logger dot? I thought there was a way that you can make it an extension method. iLogger high performance logging dependency injection. Rampless, Steven, the programmer, is very, very busy. No, I'm here. Sorry, I'm just not paying attention. Let's see, Landry Carroll. My thought is, given LLM's fast code gen, knowing architecture is more important than ever. Fair, yep, I think that's fair. Although I think with architecture, it's very easy to end up being in the white ivory tower. Like you've never written a line of code yourself, or you haven't written a line of code in many, many years, and you just everything's theoretical. And so I think it's very easy to maybe like I think this idea that you can somehow become a great programmer with just knowing the theory and never actually doing the concrete implementation, I don't think that actually is going to translate. I still think in order to be able to properly guide and judge an LLM's output, you need to have done the work yourself, in my opinion. That's actually one of my biggest anxieties right now about the AI's impact on the developer ecosystem is I think LLMs are gonna rob a lot of people from developing their own knowledge and abilities, and they won't know that that's what's happened until they get 5 or 6 years down the line. And I think that's unfortunate. I think everybody who got to learn and train and acquire their skills before LLMs are at a distinct advantage compared to those who have come up after. Unknown. For new programmers, using AI to find potential issues in the code or find bugs while it's writing the actual code yourself something okay to do? Or is sitting there trying to manually find issues better? I personally am still just I want to get better, and I think the way to get better is to actually write code and debug problems and find solutions. I think I think a lot of it too matters on the context. If your boss is standing over your shoulder and needs this done right now, and you've got to pump out 5,000 lines of code in a couple days, okay, well, AI is your way, man. But if you actually want to like get better as a programmer, developer, software engineer, whatever word you want to use, I still think you need to spend time in the weeds myself. Like yesterday, was it yesterday? No, it was Saturday, I think. I spent like 45 minutes trying to figure out an issue in my term chat TUI, and it was a library was throwing a different exception than what I expected to catch. And I felt like I got better in the 45 minutes I spent doing all that debugging and troubleshooting. But people, the thing is, I'm just one guy, so take my opinions for what it's worth. There's a lot of people who have different opinions on this stuff. I'm just trying. I just don't want to be the guinea pig. All the great programmers that I know got great at it by putting in the time. They did not get better at it by using an LLM. So I'm not going to be the person who runs the experiment of like, well, let me try to become good at programming by just coding through an AI. Yeah, that's not that, and I also just don't enjoy coding through an AI. So that's where I'm at personally. When I try to build bigger projects, it's difficult to come up with solutions to complex problems. I could use AI, but I'm trying to get better. How do you think I can improve at this aspect of programming? So, Wildman Hudson, I always find the easiest way to solve complex problems is to break the problem down into the tiniest things. And oftentimes, the best place to start is with the what you want to receive. So, for example, if you want to build a form on a website, right? And you want that form to take some data, validate it, pass it to your backend, and stick it in a database, right? I know that's not a complex problem, but let's just say we start there. That problem has many smaller sub-problems, but the tippy top of that problem is the UI, it's the form. So a lot of the times that's where I'll start, is like I'll start with the wishful end in mind. Like if everything was working properly, if I had a complete solution, what would I see? Okay, I'd see a form with these boxes. Okay, great. Solve that. What's the next thing? Okay, well, if everything was working properly when I hit this button and these inputs were invalid, I would see an error message. Okay, go do that. And so that's typically how I write code, is I just continually break the problem down and just solve the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. Because if you try to think of it like in a big end to end and do it like in a single shot, it's just too overwhelming. Like for example, with this library, that's kind of how I started. Was I just wrote a demo application like that looks like this, and now I'm just kind of working backwards of like, here's what I'd like to happen from a developer experience perspective. Now go write the code to make each one of these things an actual thing. I often find that helps me take something that seems like a big nasty thing and chunk it down into smaller solvable pieces. And the way to get good at it is just to do it a lot. Unfortunately, AI robs you of the opportunity to do that because it will not typically solve problems in that manner. It'll just try to single shot everything. Unless you specifically ask it not to do that. Kevin, yeah, I'm worried about security mainly at this point because if people don't understand how things work, they leave huge gaps unknowingly. That's fair. I honestly wonder what the seniors in 5 or 10 years are going to be after all this AI buzz. That's an interesting thing. Do you think the seniors in 5 or 10 years will be better than the seniors are now? Or do you think they'll be the same, or do you think they'll be worse? And part of that's subjective because the thing that I get a lot of pushback on is a lot of people push back on, well, does anything that used to matter anymore if AI is a part of our workflow? And I don't really have a good question. I don't really have a good answer to that question of like, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. I personally, I think it still does, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm, I'm intellectually honest enough to admit that I might be wrong. Sounds about right because you have to try and learn to find problems yourself to train your mind. From my new experience, AI is not a good programmer. It is more of an autocomplete and less of a programmer. Well, I think it can be a good because I've watched people like David Fowler. I've watched people like WebDev Cody. I've watched people online who I respect use AI and they get good results. And I've used coding agents. Like I just used Claude Code the other day to generate some code. But I feel like the people who are able to use agentic AI effectively or use AI effectively are people that already know what they're doing. Right? And so if you don't know what you're doing to begin with, then it's really hard to tell the model the right thing to do or to judge whether or not the model is doing the right thing. And so that's the piece of the puzzle that I'm not sure anybody has a good answer for. So if you need to be knowledgeable to maximize AI's value, and using AI robs you of the opportunities to become knowledgeable, right? There's like this chicken or the egg problem. And then unfortunately what that means is then that puts a bunch of onus on you as the individual to basically spend time learning with AI and learning without AI. So you basically have to do double the work. You need to have a whole skill set that exists outside of AI that's not reliant on AI. And then you need to have a skill set of working with AI to basically amplify or accelerate the rate at which you can do your work. Because that's unquestionable that AI generates code faster than any human ever could. When I was in second year, the GPT and other came in hype and ruined me. Now I'm in final year. I think I should have not given that much on the AI to write code. It gives instant dopamine of doing things. It really does. I mean, ASN, I don't think you're alone here. And honestly, I don't think you should blame yourself. I think you're fighting a big uphill battle. I think a lot of people have expressed this is like a lot of people are now, and I've experienced this as well as I pulled AI more and more out of my coding workflow, is the minute you pull AI out of it, there's this huge friction you feel to actually sit down and write code yourself or to come up with an architecture or a solution yourself because you've conditionally trained yourself to just like tab, 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 or, generate me an API endpoint that does XYZ thing, and then it just, spits out the code. So I don't think you can really blame yourself because it's sort of just like, it's like with our physical health. So many people don't exercise because we prefer the path of least resistance, right? Any amount of friction we avoid. From the past 3 to 4 months, I shifted to Nvim. I think now I have more understanding as we have to do things by own. Yeah, I think as a if you're gonna work in the field, I think you sort of now have this onus to do both. You have to make time to write code by hand. You have to make time to work with AI, and you have to be able to speak to both things. And unfortunately, I don't think there's a world where we go back. It doesn't seem like we're in a world where unless something really crazy happens with the AI companies, I think this is where we're going to be at for a little while. And you're just going to have to pick and choose your context. If your context is I want to build something and I want to build something quickly, fast, I don't care too much about the architecture or the code or anything like that. I just want to get the code written and have an outcome. Then you're going to lean heavily into AI tools. If the context is I want to learn, I care deeply about the quality of this thing, I want to understand this system intimately, then you're going to lean more on your own abilities and your own skill set, and you're going to use AI more as like a supplement to what you're doing, I think. And that's just, you're going to have to decide, you're going to have to toggle back and forth. What's the context here? It almost reminds me a lot of reading, right? So, like, we have the internet, we have these search engines, we have these large language models. There's not really a reason why you need to read nowadays. Like, you don't need to sit down and make reading a habit because you can get all the information you would ever want at your fingertips. But yet we still encourage people to read books, read lots of books. And that's because that activity has an impact on you as an individual in a meaningful, tangible way. And I think hand building, hand writing code or constructing systems without AI is going to take on a similar thing where it's probably not the most efficient way to do something when you want to go from A to B. But in order to really get better, you're going to have to make time to sit down and do these things on your own. Maybe they are not going to be better, but those who raise to that position surely will be those who understand what they're doing. I hope so, you hear. I hope so. Surely. I don't know. The Peter principle tells us that people get promoted to the level of their incompetence. So I doubt AI changes that much, but AI is more like a junior programmer working under you. It can get some things done, but as a senior, you need to be good enough to actually judge the code written by a junior. Yeah, and that's the part, I agree, but that's the part where we're in this like chicken or the egg loop where it's like, how do you become good enough to judge the code that an AI generates if you never actually write the code yourself? Like there's kind of like this weird circular loop there. I asked AI to generate a document, but kept changing little things. Now I got 40 paperwork files, and all of them are confusing. Let's see. If the internet was a leap forward with the next step AI, I wonder what the next step is going to be. I don't know. Probably some sort of. I think the next leap forward on the AI front is some like world model, right? Some model that not only deals well with language, but deals well with like physics, the physics of the world. The issue I feel that exists is the feedback loop of AI. AI makes less people use forums. That means AI has less forums data to train to detect more problems and solutions. So maybe AI gets dumber. The answer I've heard to that issue is synthetic data. I don't know if that's actually an answer, but that's the answer I've heard people give. Caffeinated Minds. As a junior in DevOps, my main concern is skill acquisition. Tab, isn't it? And I think Caffeinated Minds, this is where juniors are going to have, in the workplace, juniors are going to have to stand up for themselves. And they're going to have to make sure that their direct manager or their mentor, whoever's in charge of their development, juniors are going to have to make sure and be very vocal and say, I know you want this done quick, and I know we could prompt an LLM to do this relatively quickly, but I want an opportunity to upskill here. And so I would like the bandwidth, or I would like the leniency for this task to take longer, because I'm not going to leverage tooling. right? And that's the negotiation now that's going to have to come into play for people who are early in career, is if they're at a particular place of business where there's high value put on productivity and output, juniors are going to have to be vocal for themselves to say, well, I understand that, but this is the first time I've ever done it, and I'd really like to do it myself so that I fully understand how everything works, right? And then in the future, I will use AI tools, right? Um, and maybe businesses will formalize this more. Like, there was a paper I made a video about that talked about preceptorship. So formalizing like seniors doing mentor and coaching and training of juniors without LLMs. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to solve the problem, but I do see it's going to be a problem. A AI gene in a bottle or app shoots a hologram style out of your phone and conversates with you. That would be pretty crazy. You hear, man, I can't wait for the bubble to pop so the SWE world could move to the next buzzword. We can see what the real use of AI will stay. Yeah, I agree with you, what you hear. I'm so burnt out on the AI conversation, but I know a lot. The thing is, I'm always happy to talk about AI because I know so many people have a lot of anxieties and concerns and worries about it. And one of the best ways to deal with that is to try to talk about it and talk through those feelings. But yeah, I'm so burnt out. I would love the crash to come. Please, please bring it into the bubble. Totally agree. Thankfully, I have a good team and mentor. And that's going to be even more critical for juniors, is making sure that they find a place that actually supports them. Yeah, and wants to see them succeed. I don't think AI will go away, just catch less headlines and just be something that costs money and is kind of normal. Yes. I think what you hear means is he wants to get to a place where, like, we're post the dot-com bubble, where, like, okay, we all went a little crazy there. The internet is very impactful. It is very important, right? I think AI is the same thing, right? It's like, let's get over this hype train of like software engineering dead, SaaS apocalypse, all that bullshit. Let's get over it and let's just focus on the actual technology and where it adds the most value, and let's move on to the next thing. Let's see, Caffeinated Minds. Dave from You Suck at Programming said something similar. Like, what do you do if you open Vim and need to make something from scratch? No internet, no LLM. Exactly. And see, this is where somebody, when I've brought that up, Caffeinated Minds, people have said, well, that's silly. You're always going to have access to an LLM. Why, that's a silly scenario. And maybe it is, but something feels good about knowing that if you stuck me in front of a terminal with Vim and like, the basic tooling for Go or .NET or Node or something, I could still build you a program, right? Something feels good about that. It's fun to be. I think that's the way the Primogen has put it. Like, it's fun to be competent, right? It's fun to feel competent. The thing is that juniors pretend to be smart with vibe coding and do not want to learn. Well, that's lame. That is not how you should be. Juniors, early in career people, whatever you want to call them, you should not try to pretend to be more than you are. And you should embrace not knowing. You should be excited to not know things, because that means you've got opportunities to learn and get better. Also, can the home industry crash already? I want to buy a house too. I'm with you there, you hear. I would love to buy a home, and that's like the houses that in the area of the world where we live in Kansas City, or a suburb of Kansas City, and the house costs here is just insane, especially for what you get. They're nice homes, but they're old, and most of them need a lot of work, and they're outdated, and yeah. bring on the housing crash. Bring on the next stock market crash. Let's pop this bubble. My generation isn't going to own anything. Well, I'm trying to be hopeful about that. It definitely feels that way, but maybe we'll be surprised, you know? Maybe we'll be surprised. All right, it's 7:40. I got to get ready for work. It's Monday. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I'm sorry that the stream ended with more AI existentialism, but it just seems like that's something we're all dealing with. And so if my stream can be a place for you to work some of that anxiety out or share some of my thoughts and ideas and get some feedback from other people, I'm always happy to do that. All right, guys, if you're new here and you want to come back and hang out again in the future, you can find my stream on YouTube or Twitch, and I'll put my schedule in the chat. It's 4:15 a.m. to about 7 a.m. every morning. You're welcome to come and hang out. The vibes we're mainly going for here are sort of like a co-working stream. So I'm going to build some stuff. If what I'm building is interesting to you, great. Hang out, ask questions, talk about stuff. If you just want to chill and work on your own projects and chit chat in between moments of clarity, that's fine as well. If you want to hang out outside the stream, we do have a Discord. I'll put that in the chat as well. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. You're welcome to join. No pressure. Abdul, bro, my YouTube is broken. I'm sorry to hear that, Abdul. See you, Landry. See you, Caffeinated Minds. Hope you guys have a great day. See you here. All right, guys. I'm going to get ready for work. Okay, bye. See you guys. Have a good day. Oh, shoot. I just ripped out my headphones. There we go. That's better. All right. Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good day. See you, Asen. See you, Abdul. Bye, guys.